can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together?
Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. I'm gonna try to film this before either child has a meltdown, because we've already had them today, because they don't, I'm like right on the other side of the living room wall and they don't want to be out there by themselves. Aspen doesn't really mind, but Quentin is apparently scared of everything now, so we're just gonna wing it and go with it. So don't mind the like half finished wall right here. We're still finishing Aspen's room, so that's why like her crib and everything is in here, and there's like paint tape and whatever, so just don't mind that. It's just there and it's just gonna sit there. So for today's video, obviously I had an OB appointment, so this is my 24-week update. I figured out I like to do these when I have an appointment, just because then I like definitely have something to share, and if I didn't have an appointment, then like necessarily I probably didn't. So anyways, so this week I went to my 24-week appointment. I was supposed to go at 23 weeks, but we were on vacation in New York, so I really couldn't go, so I just bumped it to the next week. So the next time I go will be 28 weeks, and that's my last 4-week appointment, and I go to every 2 weeks after that. So that's a little exciting and scary both at the same time. So anyways, getting into how the appointment went, I got my scripts to go do my gestational diabetes test. I think it's not next Monday, but the Monday after that I go and get it done. So we're crossing our fingers that that all works out nicely, because with Aspen I was 1 point over, and thankfully they were like, oh, like you're good, you're fine. But I'm just a little concerned. I don't know why, but I'm a little concerned. I just have this weird feeling, and I am terrified of pricking my finger. Like I can't do it to myself. Like I would take an IV, I'd take shots, like I don't care, those don't bother me, but pricking my finger is where I draw the line of I don't like it. The next thing that I got told was that I have negative blood, so I think I'm like A negative or something like that, and so my like blood doesn't like attack the baby if there's like a breach within like blood going back and forth. I have to get a shot called Rogaine. If you have positive blood, then you don't have to get this. So yeah, anyways, it's this really thick shot, and usually it's cold, so it makes it worse. And they put it in your butt or your arm, and I prefer it in my butt cheek because it's way less painful, because you can just like not sit directly on the side of your butt cheek. But if it's in your arm, you have to use your arm for a couple days, and it's really sore. So I checked with my OB, and she was like, no, we're gonna put it in your butt. And I was like, thanks for doing that. I don't know how to say that. But yeah, so I have to get that at my next appointment, which is perfectly fine. I've gotten it with all 3 babies now. Aspen is joining us. She is not in clothes for the day, so you're only going to see the top half of her head. She's also watching the phone, so if you do hear little noises, it's because it's my phone, and that glow on my face is my phone. Anyways, so yeah, I had 1 Rogaine shot for Quentin, 2 for Aspen, and 1 so far for this baby. Next appointment, sometimes you do have to have them at the end if something's like not compatible with your like blood and the baby's blood, so that like something doesn't happen to you. I'm not very well versed in the whole blood mixing thingy, but I've never had to have that happen, so hopefully I don't have to have it this time. If it does, I mean, I don't really care. Like, you're putting pain in my butt cheek, probably already have pain in my butt cheek, so it doesn't really bother me. The next thing I talked about with my OB is I was supposed to have a just like a Be Sure growth ultrasound in my 3rd trimester. So anyways, I was supposed to have a like 3rd growth scan to make sure baby was growing okay, because baby was in the 5th percentile when I had my first ultrasound with my new OB's office, and then the 2nd ultrasound that we got done, baby was in the 26th percentile, which is really good. They don't get scared unless it's under the 10th at my office, but she was like, that is like just like a little bit of like a red flag of like, I just want to make sure the baby is okay. So she was like, you know what, we're just gonna do another growth ultrasound at your next appointment just to make sure that the baby is getting where it needs to be and not regressing. She said, let's just do one to be safe, make sure the baby is progressing the way the baby needs to be. She said probably just have a smaller baby than Quentin and Aspen. Quentin was like 7'6", I do believe, and then Aspen was 7'13". So she was very close to 8 pounds, and she was like, have any of your other babies been like growth restricted? And I was like, no, I've never had an issue with that. So she was like, okay, that is like a little weird. I was basically like, no, like they never had any issues really, like they were perfectly fine growing size. I'm pretty sure they were always in like the 80th percentile or something like that. Like they were pretty great size requirement. So we're just gonna check on the baby, make sure baby's just like small compared to the other 2, I guess. So I don't know how to take that, because like I know their measurements are like not really off, but like it can be like off by like, I think it's like a pound in either direction. So like the closer we get to delivery, like it's not like, yes, it tells them something, but no, it doesn't at the same time. So I don't know, I'm like hoping for just like a 7, like in the 7th baby, like I've had, and those babies have been perfectly fine. So yeah, so I'm just like wondering like whether this baby's gonna be like small when it comes out or regular sized for us. I feel like that would be really weird having like a small baby, just because like our babies already like feel so small, but they're really not, I guess. So we'll see. Okay, that's better. I had Quentin turn on the light for me. The next thing that we talked about was we talked over my plans for pain management, just because if you don't know, I've had a lot of issues in the past with an epidural, and my blood pressure is already very, very low. So when you add an epidural to that, they don't like each other at all whatsoever. So it makes it kind of difficult to get pain management with an epidural, because my blood pressure just tanks. And there is medication that they can just push and it brings it right back up to normal, but they didn't know that the last time. So every time they would push the epidural, my blood pressure would like tank and I would pass out, and it was just not great. So so this time we talked about Damien does not really feel comfortable with me getting an epidural. I'm kind of terrified to get an epidural. When I first talked to my midwife, because my office has OBs and midwives, when I first talked to my midwife, she was like, listen, if you don't feel comfortable with it, you don't have to get it. She said we put it on the back burner, and if you absolutely need it, it's right there. Like, it's not an issue. We know what to do so that you don't do that again. So basically, if I do need to get an epidural, it's gonna be my last like choice to get one. They offered me like gas and air and everything, and I've heard mixed opinions about the gas and air, but we're just gonna kind of go with it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's millions of other pain management that there is for labor and delivery, especially at the hospital that we're going to. But basically, for me, in order for me to get an epidural, they have to completely, like, they give you fluids while you're in labor usually. Depends, you can deny them, I'm pretty sure, but I never do, because I know my body like definitely needs them. Like, you're completely exhausted. I don't like drinking anything while I'm in labor. I feel like it makes me just not feel great. I think with Quentin I ate like Jello or something while I was in labor, but with Aspen I was just like, no, this is not fun. So I get the fluids that I need through IV so that I don't get like super dehydrated. And then like the next day I feel like it like makes your recovery a little bit better because you're not like trying to play catch up and be in recovery at the same time. So they basically said if I do want to get an epidural, I need to be flooded with fluids. So like not the normal amount, but they're going to literally push so many fluids before I even get the epidural that I'm gonna feel like a water balloon. And I was like, I'm okay with that. That's perfectly fine. They also said that they'll push, I don't remember what the medication is called, but it's the medication that brings your blood pressure back to normal when your blood pressure tanks. That'll be on my bedside, and it'll also be pushed at the same time as they're like giving the epidural. So like I should be okay if I get that right when they're pushing the first epidural, and I might need it some more times after that, she said. But they'll basically just keep it next to the bedside, and my nurse will basically like have to be my best buddy and be in there all the time because they don't want me to not do well. So we're keeping that as a last resort. And then the last thing that we kind of discussed was I verified where I needed to deliver. We have a lot of hospitals near us that deliver babies, but we have 2 in particular that our OB's office is like connected to. So the one of them that they're connected to, I've delivered at twice, and I don't like it. I don't like the staff. I don't like the hospital. I don't like the doctors. I literally just don't like anything about the hospital in general. It's a terrible hospital. And I will not be going back there. The other one that I'm going to be delivering at, I'm supposed to deliver Quentin there, and I didn't get to because there was some, anyways, I didn't get to, so I delivered at the other hospital. If you want to know more about that, just go watch my labor and delivery story with Quentin, and it'll kind of explain things. I think I haven't watched that in a very long time, so I don't even remember half of it. But so I basically verified if I'm pushing a baby out of me, do I continue to go to our delivery hospital, or do I go to the closer one that I don't like? She was like, if you have your butt cheeks raised in the air in the car, she was like, do not come to this hospital. She was like, go to the other one. Don't do it. She was like, I don't want you delivering the baby in the car. She was like, they'll still let you do your VBAC because that's on your birth plan, and that's what we've discussed. It's in your chart. You're safe to do one. They're not gonna, like, you're gonna be fine. And I was like, okay. I was like, I just don't want to be like butt cheeks up in the air in the car and then still driving past the hospital. And she was like, no, I completely get it. Just go there. If that happens, you'll be fine, because our plan for labor is to labor at home as long as possible. I don't like laboring in the hospital. I feel like it's inconvenient, uncomfortable. You have a bunch of people like watching you. I don't like it. So here, as long as I can manage my pain, we're gonna stay here. And then we're just gonna go from there. We have 4 more weeks in our 2nd trimester, and then we are officially in our 3rd. And then it's like kind of like just crunch time. That is it for my 24-week update, appointment, recap, whatever you want to call it. And we will see you guys in our next one.